On March 28, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, heading to Beijing, China. It was a routine overnight flight carrying 239 people on board. Passengers from 14 different countries, business travelers, families, children, and crew members. But less than an hour after takeoff, the plane vanished from radar screens. No distress call, no warning, just silence. What happened to Flight MH370 has since become one of the greatest aviation mysteries in history. Despite years of investigations, countless searches, and endless theories, the truth remains hidden beneath layers of uncertainty. Tonight, we are going to take you deep into this mystery. From the final moments of the flight to the evidence found, the theories proposed, and the haunting questions that remain unanswered to this very day. The timeline of disappearance. At 12:41 a.m., MH370 departed Kuala Lumpur International Airport. The Boeing 777 was expected to arrive in Beijing at 6:30 a.m. It climbed to cruising altitude 35,000 feet and everything seemed normal. At 1:19 a.m., the co-pilot made the last known voice communication with air traffic control. He said, "Good night, Malaysian 370. Just 2 minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., the plane's transponder, the system that communicates with air traffic control, suddenly stopped working. Within seconds, MH370 disappeared from civilian radar. But the plane didn't just vanish. Military radar later confirmed that the aircraft had changed course, turning west instead of continuing north toward Beijing. It flew back over Malaysia, then out over the Andaman Sea, continuing for hours. At 8:19 a.m., nearly 7 hours after the last voice communication, MH370 sent a final automatic satellite handshake, a ping, to a satellite orbiting Earth. After that, nothing. The plane and the 239 people on board were gone. The search. The disappearance of MH370 triggered one of the largest search operations in history. Dozens of countries joined in. The initial focus was on the South China Sea, but when radar data revealed the plane had turned west, the search area shifted to the vast Indian Ocean. Ships, aircraft, and satellites scoured the waters. At its peak, over 120,000 square kilometers were searched, but for months, nothing was found. It was as if the plane had been swallowed by the ocean itself. Then, in 2015, debris started washing ashore. A flaperon, a piece of the wing, was discovered on Réunion Island, east of Madagascar. Over the next few years, more fragments appeared on the coasts of Africa and Indian Ocean islands. The debris confirmed that the plane had indeed crashed into the ocean, but the location of the main wreckage and the answers it holds remain undiscovered. Theories and speculations. With so few clues, theories quickly filled the void. Some were rational, others were wild, and some bordered on the impossible. Mechanical failure. One theory suggests a catastrophic failure, such as an electrical fire, disabled communications, and incapacitated the crew. But if that were the case, why did the plane continue flying for hours, making deliberate course changes? Hijacking. Another possibility is hijacking. Could someone on board have taken control of the plane? But no group has ever claimed responsibility and no demands were ever made. Pilot involvement. Some investigators have considered whether Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, the pilot, deliberately diverted the flight. Flight simulator data from his home showed routes similar to MH370's final path. But friends and family described him as dedicated and stable. Was this evidence of a plan or just coincidence? Crew or passenger sabotage? There's also the possibility of sabotage by someone else on board, perhaps a crew member or passenger with knowledge of aviation. But again, no solid evidence has ever been found. Shoot down or cover up. Some believe MH370 was accidentally shot down, perhaps by a military exercise, and covered up. This theory is fueled by the lack of transparency in the early days of the search. But official investigations have found no proof of this. A controlled flight into the ocean. The satellite data suggests the plane flew on autopilot until fuel exhaustion before spiraling into the ocean. But whether that was intentional or accidental remains unknown. The human side of the tragedy. Beyond the theories and speculation, we must remember the human cost. 239 people vanished that night. Families were left in limbo, torn between hope and grief. Parents, children, spouses, friends, waiting for answers that never came. For the families, the greatest pain is not just the loss, but the uncertainty. Without wreckage, without bodies, without truth, closure feels impossible. What we know today, the official investigation, which lasted years and involved multiple countries, concluded in 2018. Their final report stated that the exact cause of MH370's disappearance could not be determined. In other words, we still don't know what truly happened. Private search teams have continued the hunt using advanced sonar and underwater drones. They've scoured vast areas of the Indian Ocean, but the wreckage has never been located. It's possible that MH370 lies in a remote trench, hidden deep beneath the waves, beyond our reach. The legacy of MH370. The disappearance of MH370 changed aviation forever. Airlines now track planes more closely with more advanced satellite technology. Pilots undergo stricter checks. International cooperation in aviation safety has increased. But for the mystery itself, the case remains unsolved. MH370 has become more than a tragedy. It has become a haunting riddle, a symbol of how even in the modern age, with all our technology and surveillance, a massive passenger jet can simply disappear. Closing reflection. It has been years since that night, and the questions still remain. What happened to those 239 souls? Was it a technical failure, a deliberate act, or something we may never understand? Perhaps one day, the ocean will give up its secrets. Until then, MH370 remains a ghost in the sky, a chilling reminder of how fragile certainty can be and how some mysteries are destined to linger forever. What do you think really happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370? Share your thoughts below.